unknown to me that it was brand strategy. I started doing my homework. So brand strategy, you have to do like the research and get to know, okay, why this is this, why you have to do this, why you have to do that, as opposed to just brand.
How do you define your client? Now, okay, I'm asking the question because there is somebody that is listening to you now and is like wondering how he or she can find the right people that she will be working for, because you are talking of branding because you don't want to wear any type of dress. You don't want to appear anyhow. You want to appear in a certain way, like the Nigerians will say, dress the way you want to be addressed.
So branding is like the engine room. Yeah, let's just say the engine room that facilitates all other things. So I'm fascinated with that because why when you're doing your brand identity, I think you really should know your why. Why am I doing this? My name is Real Desmond, and I'm a brand identity designer for personal brands, basically who I am. And I'm also a LinkedIn creator recently. I think recently I started accepting that. So yeah, I'm a LinkedIn creator.
All right, that's
So that's
interesting.
all there is right now to me. Except you want me to go like a bit deeper, and then I'll say, "Oh, I'm a Christian first." I don't think that. Are we talking about that? I don't
Of course,
think
we are
so.
talking about
So
everything. We are talking about
okay, yeah.
we are talking
So
about you. We are talking about who you are.
that's just me. I'm a Christian. I'm a graduate of human physiology, but after NYSC, I know you know that you're in Nigeria, right? So after NYSC,
All right, that's fine. So you are talking right now in Lagos or some other part of the country.
Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt. Okay, that is the oil country, oil well city, no? There's a lot of money going around there.
Oh, I think that's just like because of the impression they have, like oil money. But I don't think so. I think it's
Mm.
in terms of like money exchange. I think
You mean it's the same everywhere?
I, I think Lagos is better. I just think because of the notion that because oil is gotten from rivers, then there should be money. So I think and it's just what will I call it? It's just a rumor.
Ah, okay. Well, you say so.
I don't think so. I think second, you can say maybe Lagos and then maybe Kanako or Abuja and then go Port Harcourt before Abuja. Lagos first.
All right, you say so. So I'm not even going to argue that with you. All right. So tell me, how did you get into branding? Because that is what you do today, right?
After school, um, I couldn't go for my service because of I couldn't go for my clearance of service because of and we had like ASU strike and then we had COVID-19. So I finished in 2019. So 2020 is when you're supposed to do like the clearance and stuff and then get your certificate and then you go for your NYC. But because we had COVID-19, then we had like ASU strike, I couldn't do all of that. And I was working at that time. I was working at that time because during school, while I was schooling, usually during holidays, I would go to a clinic, a family friend I would visit. I would go there and walk and get acquainted with like hospital settings and stuff like that. So immediately after school, while I was waiting, he said, "Okay, I can come work with him." Clinic. But then COVID-19 happened, and because I was like family, he said he didn't want me to be, infected or anything, so I had to stay home, stopped working, and just staying at home during that COVID time. And then I stumbled on an online course. And at that time, I was actually very broke because I mean, I'm not working and I didn't have a skill, nothing. So I was home and I stumbled on an online course, something, and I just paid for it. It was for graphic design and I paid for it. I learned to do it. I just loved it. And then I paid for another course And that was it. I started practicing, putting in the work, learning, mostly self-taught, learning all over the place, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere, name it. And I was all of that. And then I kept practicing and practicing and practicing. And then up until I think even when I started building on LinkedIn, I was still doing both. I was still doing both graphic and then I was doing branding. But it got to a level I had to ask myself, like my why, what did I want to do in the long run? And I said, okay, after a lot of self introspection, I just knew that okay, I had more passion because I had only business before, a small business. So and I know how beautiful it is when a small business I see their branding going on like well branded, well on point, and I love that. And so I said, okay, this is my passion. This is what fuels me. I'm passionate about seeing small businesses, young businesses thrive. I don't believe that because you're a small business or you're a startup or you're a medium business that you have to look bad or your branding will have to be nothing to write home about. So I just said, okay, this is what I love. And I decided to go into it. So I had to, because at first when I was building on LinkedIn, I had like graphic design and then I said graphic and brand identity designer. But over time, when I got that, clarity on what I wanted to do, I had to take that off and just let it brand identity designer. And that's just it. I just knew that this is what I wanted to do. And then I offer like graphic services on the side. Like you want me to brand your business, and then there's a plus one, like addition, or you want maybe other things like flyers, posters, and stuff like that. I can do that. But majorly, I call myself as a brand identity designer. Yeah, that's what I do. I'm building towards that line, building to brand identity, brand strategy. That's just what I'm doing.
All right, that's
That's
very
how I.
interesting. Brand strategist. That's who you are, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm building towards. I'm doing more. I'm more of a identity designer. So, but I started. Okay, first I was just doing it like branding, but like I said, you know, I kept learning, kept seeing what other top guys are doing, and I started unknown to me that it was brand strategy. I started doing my homework. For brand strategy, you have to do like the research and get to know, okay, why this is this, why you have to do this, why you have to do that, as opposed to just branding. So I had to do my research and said, okay, unknown to me, I've been infusing like little bit of strategy into what I do. Meaning I don't just brand, there must be a why to why I'm doing anything I'm doing. That's the brand identity. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start really like focusing on brand strategy. I'm going to focus on learning. So this year, that's basically what I'm trying to take courses on brand strategy, trying to learn more on brand strategy because I can't call myself a brand strategist until like I gain that until I become so confident enough and how I gain confidence is through knowledge. So until I feel like I'm knowledgeable enough for myself a strategist, then I will. But I think I am really doing some of the work in my brand identity.
All right. So yeah. So right now you don't describe yourself as a brand strategist, right? But that is
So
what you are.
I don't.
But that is what you are learning, right?
I'm very particular about titles. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn and inculcate fully into what I do. Because right now I can just call myself a brand identity designer, creating like the visual element as regards the brand. But because I've been, when you're building on LinkedIn, I think you should know that when you're building on LinkedIn, you have to give value. You have to give content, valuable content. And so I can't just keep talking about brand identity. I have to learn a lot about like branding in general. So I have been learning a lot about that. And so sometimes people even think I'm a strategist, but no, I just inculcate that into what I do. But right now I can't call myself that because I'm very, very particular about titles. I feel like if you're being called a certain name, it comes with a lot of responsibilities. And so that's why I don't really, some people say, oh, you should be a LinkedIn coach. And I'm like, no, do you know, do you know the responsibilities that come with the title? You don't just fling the title on yourself. It comes with a lot. And if you're not ready to see that excellence that comes with that title, then you shouldn't call yourself that. So because I can't guarantee that I'm excellent in that area, I can't call myself a strategist just yet until I'm sure and I'm knowledgeable.
So right now, you identify yourself more as a brand identity expert, something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, not expert, brand identity designer.
Brand
Expert is a
identity
big
designer.
title. Yeah, expert is a big title. I don't want to answer that yet.
Anyway, that is fair enough. That is fair enough. All right, tell me, how do you what is interesting to you about brand strategy? What is interesting to you? Why are you interested in that area that you are learning about it?
Okay, because I feel like in this day and age, like everybody, me and also the emergence of AI, it's becoming more and more easier to just get online and just do some magic with AI apps and websites and stuff like that. And then you can get a logo, you can get a palette and stuff like that. But I think brand strategy is what changes it. I mean, you're being strategic about a particular thing. You're not just leaving things to chances or head knowledge or anything. You're doing like the main research behind the why. Okay, this is what, because at the end of the day, branding is about creating like a perception of anything. Let's say you want to be perceived as the best coach, the best lifestyle coach, the best career coach. So branding is what you do to achieve that result or that perception, which is you want to be an expert or a career coach, the best. So branding is the what happens. Will I say branding is the what you do, then that thing you want to do. So branding has to do with like the identity. That's why you not say brand identity. It has to do. Oh, how do you appear? How do you appear? Meaning, if it's a personal brand, say, oh, how do you have to dress? What do you have to do with your brand touch points to make people see you as that? If it's a business, you're thinking of, oh, what logo, what color palette, what font, what this and that are you going to do? It is brand messaging. How do you communicate? How do you stand? What's your tone of voice and stuff like that? So branding is the whole. How would I put it? It's what moves any other thing. It's what's going to move you to this particular thing as regards to the brand messaging. It's not going to move you to do this as regards the identity. So branding is like the engine room. Yeah, let's just say the engine room that facilitates all other things. So I'm fascinated with that because why when you're doing your brand identity, I think you really need to know your why. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Okay, why does the color have to be red? Why? Oh, because we have a strategy as regards that. Oh, because we want to come across as powerful, want to come across as passionate. Oh, that's why we are using red. Want to come across as trustworthy. Want to come across as reliable. That's why we are using blue. We want to be humorous in our content. We want to add a little bit of humor to it. We want to be sarcastic. That's why we are doing this because we want to be easier to because okay, the people that we are, let's say the target audience that we are trying to reach or there are people that are moved by humor. Okay, that's why our brand messaging has to come across as humor. Okay, that's the strategy behind that. So I think I'm really fascinated by that because I want to really know. Like I say, I want to really know what I'm doing, like have a bigger, like a clearer picture of what I'm doing, rather than just being a tool. Because it's just one of identity is just one of. Then there's brand messaging and stuff like that. So why do one when you can be a part of like the engine room, so something like that. So I'm really fascinated by that, and mostly because I don't like being redundant and I don't like being consistent with things. I just like knowing and knowing and knowing. So probably my curiosity too, or me wanting to give my clients the best. Probably think that is true because I think we are in a competitive space. Everybody is trying to be better and give your clients better. So if you can do better, you do better. You can anything has to be better. Has to be better, right?
All right, that's
Yeah.
interesting. That's interesting.
Mm,
So yeah, you did mention AI, and of course, talking of
mm,
technology that we have today. Because there is a lot of work going on in Silicon Valley, the like of Google, Facebook,
mm, mm,
ChatGTP, they're all strongly to
Then
come
there's
out with the best. Yeah,
Gemini.
yeah. So,
Mm,
what of course this is going to mean for people is that we are
mm,
going to look for a way to separate ourselves from the crowd because
mm,
everybody can do almost about the same thing now. There are things that used to be very difficult for people.
mm,
You want to write, but what we soon find out is that with ChatGPT can write better than any person if you know how to prompt it. If that is all you can
yeah.
do, yeah, you don't have job anymore. So which means now that you need to
Mm,
look for a way to still add value to the people without be generic because
mm,
what ChatGPT can do have soon become generic.
mm.
Therefore, you must
Yeah,
have a
and people can
face.
see.
Yeah, yeah. Say something there. I'm
People
listening.
can see it. People can see it. People can see it actually because I remember that I had a client and because I also do like profile optimization for people that I brand. So there's a personal branding, and when I'm branding, doing personal branding, most of them because I need them through LinkedIn, they have a LinkedIn profile, so I have to work on their optimization and stuff like that. So I would sometimes go through their content and go through the about section, and I would know, like the minute I look at it, I would know, oh, you use ChatGPT to write this, and they say yes because it's just there's some words that ChatGPT use that you just know that this is another ChatGPT this thing. So there's this word like tapestry. They like using what other word I've forgotten, but there are some words that are just generic, and from a mile away. If you use ChatGPT enough, you know that this is written by ChatGPT. So yeah, you would know.
It's not like I'm actually condemning the people that use Chat GTP. I'm not doing
Oh,
that at all because it's an app it's a tool
mm,
that we use and we should use it. Since, like I often say, before the pyramid was built, we have been using tools. So it's just that we
mm,
have different tools today. So we are not telling people not to use tools. The point is that when you
mm,
use tools, make sure that you let your voice shine through at the end of the day so that when people read it,
yeah,
they know that this is you. Because if you don't do that, it becomes generic. So yeah, that is very
yeah,
important. So I think maybe that is where the work that you
yeah,
do can also be very important in that you are branding, you are letting people understand that this
mm,
is you. You are different from every other person, even in
yeah.
the age of AI. Yeah. Yeah, say something like you
Yeah,
want to say something there.
that's where branding comes in. I also use like AI because I wanted to because you're saying something about letting your voice shine through. So I also use AI to write my content actually, but I do it in a way that okay, let's say I think I just trying to remember the last post I did actually AI. So I had an idea. I'm trying to remember. Okay, yeah. So I made a post on LinkedIn, and it was about telling business owners that if your own branding, if what you have going on currently with your branding does not like blow your own mind, it's not going to blow the mind of your audience. So that was the idea that I had. I wish I can minimize and then read through my chat. I didn't use ChatGPT. I don't know of recent, like will I say this year, I've just fallen in love with Gemini. That is bad more than ChatGPT because I feel like ChatGPT is somehow, but Gemini just gets it anyway. So I said, okay, this is the idea that I have. I just wanted something like saying, oh, if your own branding cannot like blow your own mind, it's not going to blow the mind of your target audience, or and it's not also going to and if your competitors branding blows your own mind, that means it's going to blow the mind of your own target audience too. So that was the idea behind the post, and I wanted it as related to branding and how you need to work on your brand and you should stuff like that. And I had this idea. I just had to tell Gemini, okay, this is the idea that I have as regards this, make a content out of it. It's for my LinkedIn audience. And then I told them, so this is the target audience. This is what I'm trying to do. This is the tone of voice I want. I had to prompt it several times. It got me the result. I had to reprompt, and refine. And I made the content and it was a success. I just reminded me like so many other times that I've used like ChatGPT. I just had ChatGPT and Gemini. I just had to have idea how I wanted it to look like the picture, then I just had to use it as it's like my assistant right now, actually. Just use it to do better and just refine and just that's just it. I also use it for branding too. So when I'm branding, because of my knowledge, I have the idea of, okay, this is what I want to do, what I want to do. This is the colors I want to use for this person. And this is just what I'm feeling like, feeling towards this particular client. I would have the idea and then I would go to the GPT or Gemini. What do you think about it? Do you think these colors work well with the client, or what are your thoughts about it? And it will give me an answer. And usually the answers that I'm going to have, okay, I'm not confident that I made the right choice about this color. So I use AI a lot actually. Just like you said, you just have to make sure that while you're using it, you should allow yourself and your own voice, your authenticity shine. That's how you stand out. That's how you get to stand out.
In fact, as we have the race of AI going on, in fact, I
Mm.
think there is a series I'm thinking about that I'm probably going to include in our business soon. I've not yet included it, but
Mm.
I've thought about it, which is the use of AI in creativity. That many people think
So
that it's almost like you can never talk about AI as if maybe
ah
it's almost a forbidity not to. But I said no, you don't. You need to know that it
no.
is a tool. It is the tool
Yeah,
is
that
for
you can
you.
use to use.
Anyway, I think I'm still coming to
It's
that.
for you to take advantage of. I mean,
Absolutely.
if it's there, why not use it? I mean, we are going to have. I think I made this comment somewhere on LinkedIn, and so it was about AI, and I said we are going to have a stage where we have people, humans plus AI versus just humans. And who do you think is going to win? If you are going to have the
It's
humans that
obvious. It's
use
obvious that the
AI
woman with
kill,
AI is
yes,
going to
it's obvious.
win.
Yes. So why not take advantage? Why are you fighting it? Something that was done to help you out. I mean, make you better.
I think it's a question of ignorance because maybe it's lack of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. People don't know what it is. People
Mm.
don't know how to
And,
use it. So maybe more
and
information.
maybe they feel pressured.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. More information are there.
Yes.
It will help them because since, for example, our target audience are the African diaspora and of course African, and we know that we have a deficit in terms of written content about our history, which will sort
Mm.
of explain ourselves.
Yeah.
Now that we have tools like ChatGTP, it should help us to tell our story better. But of course,
Yeah.
again, it means that you need to know how to use it. It's like jumping into a jet plane. If you don't know how to use it, you will fly into a mountain. You will fly into the
Or
water, you know.
using it, or having an AK-47 and someone is attacking you, and you have it and you don't know how to use the gun.
That is the point. We are living in the best time, but we must make sure that we
Time. So it's
leverage
the
the time.
best time to be alive, actually.
All right. Now, tell me something.
Yeah.
What is branding? Somebody ignorance. Okay, not ignorant, but somebody who do not know yet is like wondering what is
Or
branding.
explain it like a 5-year-old.
Thank you. I like that. I like that.
Okay, and this is what I actually do with my content, because I believe I'm coming from, like I said, health background. I mean, I did human physiology. All my life has been health, health, health. And so that's one of the things I try to do with my content. I try to make it as simple as possible, because up until, was it last week? I can't say last year now. I think almost 2 years. If you had asked me what copywriting was, I probably would not think it's like a copywriting, not copywriting. So I try to make things as simple as possible so that people can understand, like me, people like me can understand. For anybody like a 5-year-old, I would say branding is just trying to make people have a certain impression of you. Doing all you can to make people have a certain impression of you without leaving it to chances. Because I used to say this, I say brand or be branded. That you take control of what you do and the perception you want to achieve or you want people to have of you, or if people have whatever impression or whatever perception they would have, and you have no control over that. So branding is just you taking control of that and being intentional. Let's use the word. I wanted to say strategic, but that might be a big word. This is let's explain like a 5-year-old. So I would say it's you being intentional, you being intentional about what you say, what you do, how you appear, how you act, because you want people to have a certain impression of you. Let's say we do branding in our everyday life. Let's say you're working in a company and you're okay, you just got a job at a company. And at your previous place of work, the company that you just left, people took you for a ride. People saw you as someone that cannot say no to them, not someone that they can easily no. take advantage of, send extra job, extra errands, and people do not really respect you. And then you're coming to this new place of work where you just got a job recently, and you're coming in and you're saying, "Oh, I'm going to dress like this." Immediately I step into that place, I'm going to make people see me as someone that they cannot take advantage of. I'm going to up my game. I'm not going to laugh too much. I'm not going to play too much. I'm going to be strictly professional with everybody in this place that I'm going to right now. What are you doing? You're branding yourself for people to have a certain impression of you. We do it in our everyday life. Let's say Obi wants to get married to a girl, and the girl is not really a conservative person. And then his own family, his mom is a conservative person, but they're going to meet her for the first time. What's going to happen? Obi is going to tell her, please dress, wear the most covered up clothes, dress this, dress that, because I want my mom to have this impression of you. So that's simply what branding is. We do it every day in our lives. We do it every single day. So it's just about being intentional, about being intentional and taking charge of what you want people to see you as, to perceive you as. And then at the end of the day, we are going to arrive at one conclusion. By the time you're done with that, you're going to arrive at one conclusion that you walk into a space and you tell people, what do you think of me? And people are going to have like 80, let's say 90% of persons are going to chorus the same answer because I've been intentional about what you've been doing to make them have that certain impression of you, as opposed to you just leaving things to chances and then you walk into a place and people have different opinions. So branding is just personality to make people have a certain perception of you and an overall impression. That's just as simple as I can explain it to a 5-year-old.
All right.
I hope if you're a 5-year-old, you will understand what I just said.
Yeah, yeah. I'm 5 years old, boy, so I've gotten
Ah,
it. All right. Tell me another thing. Now, you have client that you are working for because in business, you need to work for somebody else. Because if you are working for yourself, that is passion. All right. So, how do you define your client? Now, okay, I'm asking the question because there is somebody that is listening to you now and is like wondering how he or she can find the right people that she will be working for. Because you are talking of branding because you don't want to
mm,
wear any type of dress. You don't want to appear anyhow. You want to appear in a
mm,
certain way, like the Nigerians will say, dress the way you want to be addressed. So if you are dressing the way you want to be addressed, meaning you are communicating by your dressing, but you are not
mm.
communicating to everybody. You are communicating to a certain type of
There's a
people,
certain
which are
kind
your
of
client, no? But the question is, how do you know that that is your client? How do you find those clients? How do you define this so that your communication
networking
is not for everybody? Help me with that.
for them. Yeah. So you do your research, and then everything is driven by research. So you want to communicate to a certain person, a certain, let's say, group of persons, not person, let's say group of persons. So what do you have to do? You have to do your research. I mean, okay, these persons that I want to communicate. Let's say you want to communicate with the deaf and dumb people. What do you have to learn? You have to learn sign language, right? That's just it. So you have to do your research. Or what are the things that first them? What are the things? What are conversation starters that you can use to get their attention, and then you use sign language to keep their attention, right? That's what you're going to do. So for you to get your ideal, did I say? I think that's the word, right? Ideal client. Is that what you're
Mhm.
trying to say?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So for you to get your ideal client, you have to speak and communicate the way that you know is going to get their attention, and not just get their attention, keep their attention. So you have to do your research. What are they saying? What are they passing through? What are their challenges? What are they thinking about? Okay, like me right now, since my own clients are people that are building personal brand or trying to build personal brands, people that are small business owners, medium-sized business owners. My content has to be about what they are going through. Oh, the tips. Let's say, because I used to say, if you're doing content, personal content, which I mean that personal stories, and then there's the authority building content, and then there's the lead generation content. So let's say someone like me that has ideal clients that are business owners, personal brands, I have to put out content that will teach them or give them value on what they are currently going through. Which is they are trying to find out how to get their brand messaging right. They're trying to find out what tone of voice to use. that are currently battling with self-doubt, or will I do this? Am I able to do this business? Am I able to run this business? Or how is my personal brand? Like, what do I have to do to refine my message? What do I have to do to make sure that I'm saying the right thing to my audience? So where I come in is that I have to do content, I have to create content that would speak to them directly, what they are going through, their pain points, their struggles. Then I have to put out content that will show them, oh, this is what I've done to help a client that is going through similar thing that you are going through. This is what I did to help them out. And that's where, like someone like me, you're a designer like me, or let's say designer, copywriter, you put out content, you put out your project, you show them, oh, this is the process behind what I did. I don't know if you've seen some of my, I usually put them out. So I would really show them the transformation, like how the client was before I met them, what I did, the process, what we spoke about, why I had to do this, why I had to use this color, why I had to do this and do that to make them see this. And then when they see that, okay, this is a client, let's say I do something for I'm not going to use coach, I'll be using coach a lot. Let me say I do something like a branding for a product designer, let's say product designer. And then another product designer comes in, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to see and say, okay, this is someone that does what I do. This is what this person was going through. This is, oh, she person met real. This is the process through which she changed and transformed their brand from this to this. What's going to happen? That person is going to stick around, to want to know more, to want to follow my content. And then maybe one day, the person I say, okay, I think right now I'm convinced that I'm going to do a service. And so the person reaches out to me. What's going to happen? Okay, some persons resonate more with personal stories. Then this is me sharing my journey, because I'm also, while I'm working on your brand. So that's one of the things that people do. I used to tell people, like just like you said, dress the way you want to be addressed. I used to say there's another thing. Dress the way you want to be addressed. Not really about dressing, but if you are a designer, you're a brand designer or a brand identity designer, brand strategist, copywriter, whatever, and your own copies are bad, your own branding is bad, how do you want to convince someone to trust you with their own?
That is
It's
the
not going to
dressing.
work. I mean, you would, yeah. Would you trust yourself? You would trust yourself. So why do you have to? So I feel like that's another thing, because I am what also you can clearly see I'm building my own brand. I'm doing a good job at it. You will say, okay, if she's doing this much for her own brand, then imagine when she's being paid to do it for someone else, she's going to put in more work. And that's why I don't take my own branding like lightly. I take it seriously. And most of the time, the clients I get, they said, okay, I'm recently working with a client. Um, he reached out to me, was it last week? And when we started talking, getting it's a personal brand, working on her personal branding. So she reached out to me, and then after we started talking and getting all cozy and easy, I had to ask her, I said, okay, man, can you please tell me how you got to know me? Because sometimes some people say it's a referral, stuff like that, or they followed my content. So she said she was searching for this service, and she was stumbling on some people's profile, and she just saw my own, she checked it out, it just really caught her attention. It really, she really liked it, and then she reached out. But imagine it wasn't good. How would you appeal to that people you want to appeal to? So that's the thing. You want to get a client, you have to know what appeals to them, know what they like, know what they would want to see and be attracted to. So you have to attract, then you have to keep, and then you nurture. So first thing is you attract with your content, you attract with your branding, and then you keep them and you nurture them with your content, with your engagement, stuff like that. And before you know it, once like everything falls into place, either you reach out to them or they reach out to you and they want your service. That's going to work. That's just it. Just know what appeals to them through content and branding and how you do and how you act.
Thank you for that. That make a lot of sense, Don. It's like the sowing, in that when you sow corn, you will definitely reap corn. So if corn is what you want to harvest, you better sow corn instead of cassava,
Yeah,
no? Because people are going to find you anyway.
yeah,
The world appear to
Hmm.
be like very, very big, because we are having over
Hmm.
8 billion people. No, don't look at it like that. The world is still made up of individual. So whenever you are hanging out, you are coming from somewhere. You must know somebody who knows another person. So in that
Most
way,
of us.
people will find you out. Okay, the right way, they will fish you out. Which means
Yeah.
if you really want your um the dress, the way you want to be addressed, like I said before, actually reflect the way you talk, the way you do your
Hmm.
things, the way you present yourself. All these are because sometimes communication is not just the verbal. I think sometimes
Hmm.
people can say that is up to more than 70% of the communication doesn't come from your mouth. It comes from every other thing that you do that is not
Except
really
your
tag
mouth.
communication. So that you don't say that I am a brand expert and you don't demonstrate it because it's not what you say, but what do you do?
Hmm.
So I think those are really very
Exactly.
important, no? Like what you are saying. So I really agree with you so much on that, no? All
Yeah.
right.
I used
Now,
to say brand the way you want to be addressed, actually.
I like that.
That's actually what I say.
That is
I used to
good.
say brand the way you want to be addressed.
That's good. That's good. I love that. All right. Now, you help people to find their voice so that in the
Mm.
seal of, okay, let's say in the crowd of people,
Mm.
people can identify them. I often say this
Mm.
in that I was organizing a lecture room the other day. We were talking. There were a crowd of people. Then I just pinpoint somebody. I just say, this is what this person does. Uh, I think this
Mm.
is what we are looking for. In that, in the midst of
Mm.
people, somebody can look at us like your head should be an antenna, so that when people see you, they know the frequency that you are transmitting. They know who you are, and they know because knowing who you are also means knowing what they can send your way in terms of business, no? Because
Mm.
because for that
Yeah.
particular individual, I know what she does. If somebody have asked me on the way, I have this kind of problem, find me a solution, I will know
Mm.
that okay, she can do it for you.
This is what the person.
You
Yeah.
see, so I think all these are
I
good.
think that's where consistency comes in. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where consistency comes in because you can have people that are authentic and because they don't do it for a long time, forget. So that's where consistency comes in because you have to keep saying one thing over and over again. And that's one of the beautiful thing about branding. It's about repetition. So you have to keep doing one thing over and over again consistently to make people have that perception of you. So the person that you said that you were able to just know that this is what this person does. I bet you that person did not just say that in once and they ran away. The person was doing it over and over and over again to the extent that it stuck with your head, in your head that, oh, this is what this person does. It reminds me of when I started, um, okay, my name, what they call me on LinkedIn, the Yellow Queen. I did not call myself that. They actually did. So when I said, like I said, I started taking my own branding seriously. And I just like, okay, so I'm branding for others. Okay, why don't I focus on my own branding? Why don't I take my own branding seriously? And that's how I started. I started, if you even check like so I was experimenting with colors. I think there was a time I used not really experimenting with colors, but I used like pink. Then I hadn't gotten a color to. But when I started using yellow, I just said, oh, I wanted a situation where if you see that color, I want you to think of it. So I kept using, and not I kept, I still use it a lot. I use it every single day, almost every day. You see the yellow, and that's how over time. Because I used to call people kings and queens because I feel like LinkedIn is just it was too formal and there's a man there and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, people love being called pet names and street names. And so I just like calling people kings and queens and stuff like that. So I kept doing that over time, which is going to remind me of what you said about sowing seeds. So I kept doing that over time. I kept calling people that, and I sorry about that. I kept calling people kings and queens and stuff like that. I kept calling them that, and I kept showing up with yellow. And over time, people started calling me like the yellow queen. I started doing that, and doing. I was like, then I was like, okay, this is a nice name. I mean, this is a nice name. They are calling me this. That means I'm giving them the impression that this is my color. and the color yellow should be affiliated with me. So at least that's what they thought. And I said, if they are calling me this name, why don't I use it? And that's how I started using it. So that's the beautiful thing about consistency. Once you keep doing one thing over and over and over again, to get stuck not only in your own head, but in the head of other people that are seeing it, to the extent that they cannot differentiate you from that thing. I remember some persons who come to my comment section or in my DMs and they feel like, that's real. Did I know that? Oh, something happened in like their normal life outside of LinkedIn and saw yellow and immediately they just say, real. Someone was even like, yeah, so that's just different stances about people saying, oh, that the color, I just, anytime you just see the yellow, you just, some people be like, and they saw someone using the yellow, they say like, no, 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 this is not. So like, that's the beautiful thing about consistency. Like, you can, do this certain thing. Let's say someone can be a better designer than I am, but because that person is not consistently showing off what they do, they're not consistently showing up, people would tend to forget them. And then they will go for the person. I used to say people go for what's readily available and what's stuck in their head. So you that is a better person, a better designer, a better copywriter, a better virtual assistant, a better coach, a better whatever, if you don't do what you're doing consistently, if you don't show up consistently, people are eventually going to choose the other person that you might be better than, because they kept seeing that person and that person is stuck in their head that is this person does this particular thing. And anytime they have a job or any problem that skill is needed, because that person has been showing up consistently, they're going to go for that person instead of you that is better. So that's just the thing about consistency, and just something everybody should take seriously. It's not easy to be consistent, but it pays.
Yeah, that's true. But some people are also consistently not doing something, so they are not going to be remembered for something. All right.
Yeah,
Now, tell me,
that.
how do
And
you
some
own
people are
your?
consistently doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, yeah, they can consistently be doing the wrong thing, so they will be known for the wrong thing.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It's like you are sowing your seed, and whatever you sow, you will reap. Because nature,
Yeah.
the universe doesn't make mistake. All right. Now, you help people to find their voice. I like that. Now, tell me, what are some strategies that you use to help them achieve that at the end of the day?
Okay. So I like listening a lot to their stories. So one thing I did, I ask them, tell me about you. First of all, because I'm like I said, I meet a lot of them on LinkedIn. So I ask them, what is your story? Let's say you're, I don't know why I like using coach, maybe because I work with coaches a lot for as regards personal brand. So let's say you're a coach, you're okay. I think I worked with a coach recently. She's career coach for health professionals. So she has been in the industry for about 10 years and wants to transition, being a coach and helping other, health professionals. So I told her, what's your story? Why do you want to do this? What happened? What made you want to transition? And that's what I asked. It just I know when I keep saying this, I just will keep remembering other clients I worked with. There was also another client that I think she her story was so beautiful. I mean, she had like lots of issues. She even had to leave her husband. So many issues that she had going on in her life, and all about mindset coaching and holistic wellness living and stuff like that. So I like asking them because building a personal brand and being different and being unique and standing out, that whole authenticity is just a big language for your unique story. What is your story? What are your values? What are your experiences? So I asked them, what is your story? Tell me, I want to hear. Why are you on LinkedIn? What made you want to come on LinkedIn? What made you want to become, like I just told you my story now about me transitioning. So I asked them, what is your own story? Why are you doing what you're doing? And then when I hear that story, I find out, okay, this is how best you're going to say this to me. Because imagine someone now coming out and saying, oh, I'm a career coach for health professionals. And then you hear someone come out and say, over the years, I've been in the healthcare industry. I've worn multiple hats. I've worked in different niches and different departments when it comes to healthcare. And over time, I've seen a lot of healthcare professionals that are battling with maybe low income. They're not paid for their work. They give in so much and yet they gain little. They're not confident enough of what they do. And I'm just telling you about the stories, the encounters, the experiences I've encountered as regards to other healthcare professionals. And me working in that niche for 20 something years, I just decided that, okay, I can actually stop taking a back seat and just sitting down and watching them go through this. And I can actually play a part. And that's why I decided to be a career coach. I want to help professionals not go through this and that. I want them to have a better healthcare career. I want them to find joy in what they're doing. And that's why I'm doing this. Who do you think they're going to connect with? Don't you think they'll connect with this person that has a story, that has a unique perspective, has a why, as opposed to someone that just say, "Oh, I'm a healthcare professional. Oh, I help healthcare career." I ask them, your why. What's that story? Because that's what is going to differentiate you. Everybody has. If you ask, okay, if I ask you now, why are you doing a podcast? What happened? Because me, I'm not doing a podcast because I don't have a why. I don't have a why right now. But you have a story to tell. That's why you're doing the podcast. You have a story of what you want. You have a vision of what you want to achieve with what you're doing right now. You have, maybe you want to make people share their stories and you want their stories to inspire other people. You know your why and you know the experiences. You know, would I say, you know what you've been seeing others do. Like, you probably didn't feel they did right, or you probably thought you had a different angle to it. You have your why. And that's one of the beautiful things, that your own why is definitely not the same as another person. Your experiences are not the same. So those are the things that you have to look into: your background, your life journey, your life experiences. Those are the things, your values, all of those things are the things that are going to make you stand out. They are the things that make your voice going to stand out and speak loud differently than any other person. So that's just it. Not that will I say find? I think that everybody has a voice. I think I would just say like uncover or something. More like uncover. I don't like say find. We like say find. I just feel like there's a voice inside. Not like finding a voice. Not like helping you project. Did I say project? Helping you express what's inside already. But I feel like sometimes people feel like, is it necessary? Who wants to hear my story? I'm like, are you kidding me? Read a life gist. So the world just loves hearing stories. Everybody loves stories. And so we want to listen to your story. We want to say, hey, yeah, oh, this is so relatable. Oh, really? Oh, you went through this. This is what I'm going through. I currently feel like, people in my industry should do better. So if you're saying this story, maybe one time, one day, I might decide to go into this. I might decide to take the book by the horn and help out others. People want to hear stories. So just stop doubting yourself and stop thinking that your story doesn't make sense. It makes sense. People want to listen. So I think that's the first phase, trying to make them understand that their stories are theirs, not just for themselves but for others. I usually say this, that the reason I'm on LinkedIn is because of hearing another person's story. That's another big that's another big, if we get into that, that's another whole story for another day. But the reason why I'm on LinkedIn is because I heard a story about someone. I don't know if you know him, Manuel. So he came to an event and I listened to his story about all he achieved because of LinkedIn. And I said, so people are doing this. Okay. If people can achieve this on LinkedIn, I mean, he's a young guy, he's about my age mate. And so I was like, if this young guy can achieve all of this on LinkedIn, what am I doing? I had to go back home. I had to install my LinkedIn back. Yeah, I deleted it for years. I had to install it and get back on the platform and say, look at where I am. So your story did not just happen because of it happened. It happened so that other people can learn from it and gather inspiration from it and take notes from it. So share your story, talk about it. People are listening.
All right, thank you so much for that. That is important, particularly in the part that relates to story. There is a reason why
Mm,
we are continuously hammering on story because
mm,
it go beyond just the cock and bull story. Of course, when we talk about storytelling here, we are not really talking about
mm.
the evening story that you tell or that you
Saved
would
by the
tell.
moonlight.
Yeah, yeah, cool. All of us, we know that kind of story. For that is why we often say that storytelling is actually
Mm,
the best instrument because everybody knows story. So if you don't know
mm,
how story work for you, then your what you regard as your regular sales is no longer sales. It become easy for you because you are able to go beyond the blockade that people usually will set up because that one is regular, is normal. Because it says you are taking something, you are taking money from somebody, and money is a measure of value. The people understand what money is
yeah.
going to do for them. It's going to help them to pay house rent. It's going to help them to buy the new candy if you are a child. It's going to help them to buy clothes for your husband or wife or for your kid. They know the
Mm,
importance of the money they have in their hands. So now you are telling them, hey, give me that money. Well, you are going to have to give them a value that supersedes that money
yeah,
for them
what?
to give
For
you.
the what of the value?
Exactly. So it is important that we tell story. When we tell story, that natural barrier that is set up, it can easily go away. So it is important. It says, and of course, it's important even when you want to present yourself. You are talking of branding just now, no? You are talking of story. We are talking about story, no? You talked about yourself, no? Growing up, what you have encountered.
Yeah,
All these are story. Now, people listening to
that's
you, they find value in it. They, if she can do it, then
yeah.
I can do it too, like you also
I
said. No?
can. I think that's some of the things
Yeah.
people say that a lot. I mean, I think someone sent me a message. It was like, she wanted to, I think either a message or a comment. So she was like, this is one of the things that kept her because she felt like if I could build on LinkedIn over this period of time, then she can do it too. And that's one of the beautiful things people forget. People forget that the things don't just happen. It happens so that, like I said, so that someone else there can draw strength from draw inspiration from it. So that's why we keep telling the truth, telling people, oh, you see me here. I did not just time. It took this, it took that. And so if you're here, you're a newbie, you're building, just know that you can do it.
And it's
And
also
that's
good
like
that
the compass.
when we use storytelling, that we also like sincere to the people, helping them understand that
Mm,
it is a real thing because the internet thing
mm,
for a lot of people it is not real, you know. But now I think a lot of people are
mm.
beginning to get used to it that it is actually real, you know,
Yeah.
because you tell somebody I have a business online. For till recently, it was like, are you joking? What kind of thing is that? Get a
Mm.
real business,
I
they will
think the
tell you.
COVID-19 helped. COVID helped. I think COVID helped. It made people understand that you can actually have a business online because everybody started like, oh, you don't need to come to work. Let's do remote. And so it helped. But I agree with you. Up until I think it still happens. I mean, in Nigeria, there are some persons that are like, okay, I better go and find a job or something. So yeah, up until recently, people just thought you were joking online. People said had a I said, no, I'm just concurring with you. I said, up until recently, people would think you're joking. People said,
Ah,
have a business.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And a
yeah.
lot of persons still do, especially like the older generation.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think, even I
Unfortunately,
think I met, was it like last 2 years or last year, I met my secondary school teacher and I was telling him, he was like, oh, he heard from my mom that I'm a designer now. I was like, yes. He said, don't worry, yeah, just manage it. God will. I was like,
poor you,
probably you
poor
think
you.
that for me. So yeah, just probably you just sit and play, I'm just managing and stuff like that. But that's just how it is. I think the older generation would they still prefer like the white collar office job as opposed to like online anything.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. I think the people that are online, like I was saying before, they sort of own in as a responsibility to tell the truth of what is going on, so that at least those that are coming in understand that yes, you can make it online, but it's also there are also some challenges that you need to
Yeah.
overcome. That
Mm,
you are going to do
yeah.
this happen, then this happen, this happen, because otherwise. Those that are just jumping online thinking that, okay, yeah,
mm,
I see Ruth did it,
mm,
I see Juliet did it, it's my turn to do it. Now they grind, they
mm.
grind, they grind. They did not see the result.
And no
Ah,
result.
okay, no, it's a
You
lie.
have to get frustrated.
But if
Yeah.
you let them understand that, yes, there are those times that
Yeah.
you have a
Mm,
prospect, you talk to this prospect, and the prospect tell you, oh, everything is going to be fine. Then tomorrow it doesn't go
mm,
well. Let them know that this is
mm.
the real thing. It does happen like this, but keep on
Yeah.
going, keep on going. You will have the right one that is going to
Mm,
pay you to be able
mm.
to do your work. You know.
It just reminded me. It just reminded me. When I joined LinkedIn, at that time, few months ago, I had a foreign client. I think that person was a foreign client. So the person sent me a message. They wanted this. They wanted a logo for their podcast. And so we went on it. Funny enough, I said, "Oh, it's on the podcast, and I'm on the podcast now." Imagine. So everything went well, and he added me to a group where I had to discuss it with other business partners, and we had to schedule a conference call, and everything went smooth. It was a beauty, as in I had an amazing. No, we talked and talked at length. Everything went well, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to send in. We talked about the pricing. It was like, okay, this is nice, it's okay. And I sent a message afterwards. Nothing, nothing, no message after. They ghosted me. They ghosted me, and I shared it. I shared that story. I shared it on my post on LinkedIn. I was like, 3 weeks ago, I got ghosted by a client.
It happened though. It's one of those
They
things. It's one
have
of
those that
the
people were like encouraging me. Then people encouraged me. They were like, it's one of those things. It happens. Don't worry, something better will come. It's their loss and stuff like that. I think anybody that probably was going through that phase and maybe saw my own post would be like, oh, okay, oh, thank God I'm not the only one. If they're ghosting her, then I think it's a general thing. If they ghosted me too, part of the process. So that's one of that. But yeah, I just said that to buttress the fact of what you said, that you have to share these stories, the ups and the downs, so that you balance it and make people feel like it's not like a fairy tale story where and they live happily ever after. It's not always the happily ever after. It's the happily and sadly and happily and sadly.
it's
It's
a
just
continuous
because
it's a continuous
yeah,
journey. Yeah, I think of course.
yeah.
Okay, I don't want to take the argument to a different level because if we're specifically on our storytelling about African diaspora, then we usually do talk about us more. But now we are talking mostly about business. But I think something that is a cultural aspect to that, that mostly about among Africans, we don't like to share that much. We like to share the superficial aspect of it. But most other people do share everything, including the failure. In fact, there
Yeah.
was a room we did the other day. We talk about failure story, how to use failure story in your business. It is also good that we understand that even the failure part of it is part of the game. It's not an extra part of it because sometimes we over edit the story that will look like generated from the computer so that other people can find themselves in us so that it is not good enough. We need to share everything because while we are doing that, we are
Yeah.
helping people to understand that they can do it too. Because if we don't, the risk is that other people will enter, see you there. But that is not real. That is not the real, that is not the whole part of it. The whole part of it is that sometimes you fall. If you don't let them know that sometimes you fall, they will not know that is a falling part of the game. When
Oh,
they get to the
yeah.
falling part, they will quit because they didn't know that they were
Yeah.
going to
Because
fall.
no, that yeah.
So for this reason, it is good that we let the people know that yes, you can make dollars, but sometimes you can also lose dollars. Both of them are part of the game.
Yeah.
You see, I think that is really very important. But anyway, having said that, because we are working with different businesses and also maybe individual, what would you share as some of their challenges? Because every business have challenge. Anyway, you were talking about somebody ghosting you just now. It happened to me too.
Mm.
I met a client, and this one was in the Caribbean. And I was going to write a blog post for her because that is part of the services that we do. We create websites, we do blog packages, we create courses for businesses, things like that. So yeah, she showed me her website and okay, it wasn't even her website; it's a website of a company, and they needed this service. We talked about it, the price, we agreed, everything is fine. I even wrote the first article. I sent it to her. I said, because that is how we usually work. I said, take a look at it if it is fine for you, because I don't want to say, okay, maybe we are writing like a 10 article, for example. We spend our time to do the research, do everything, the writing, then we send it to you, and you say, but I did it. That wasn't what I was expecting. But usually I say, take a look at my website. Everything is already there. You can see what we have written. So you have a look at it. As she saw it, she was very happy. Then I went ahead, I did the work. The work is done now. It's not like you design. How do I put it now? It's not like you printed a book, for example, you send it to somebody, the person says, oh, I don't like this cover, I send it back to you again. That is that is a physical copy. If I send you the PDF of that book, you cannot refund a PDF because PDF is a digital file. I don't have any way of knowing whether you cannot return it, no? So I wrote the work, we sent it to her. But okay, yeah, tomorrow the money is going to come. The day after. Anyway, we spoke for some time until now it's over a year. We didn't hear from her. And I'm talking about more than $500. And of course, we're having something that's going to go big, no? It happened. It happened sometime. That is life. It's part of the business.
Do you know if she used it?
Well, I didn't even bother because I know that it's just part of the game. So I just we just let it go.
And there was not like initial deposit.
Well, we didn't really ask for the deposit because it was just we sort of entered through a kind of friendship. We were going to, because there was a kind of confidence, no? The rate was not confident we were going to ask for a deposit. So that is how it went. Anyway, why I share this story is so that some other person that are listening to Rock can understand that sometimes things like this happen. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen.
You have to take precaution.
It doesn't
you have to take precaution.
That's the point. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen to you like this. Now that you know my story, you need to know how to prepare your exploration, no? So that's it. Anyway, the question is that, what are the challenges that you see people having that you know of?
Okay, what are the challenges that I see other business owners or people that I work with? I think majority of it is the number one is clarity. I think that's a big deal because that's why I spend, I think, almost on the average 1 hour before I get on into any job, because I think that's one of the issues. Number one, they feel adequate. They feel like I think I had said that earlier. Like they second guess themselves. They feel like their story is not important. There's nothing special about them. So I think the first thing I usually do is that whole trying to make them understand that they are different, they are unique, their story needs to be heard, their own perspective needs to be heard. People want to listen. So I think the first issue they face is the self-doubt and that self-doubt, and then the lack of clarity on what they want to do and if they want to be known for one thing. I think that's another issue people face, because I've had issues where I see a lot of person say, oh, they are doing this. Okay, I'm working on a client and she's a copywriter, but she's also building as a pharmacist. But she's still in school, so she's not done, and she's a copywriter. And she was like, "Ah, is there a way to infuse them and stuff like that?" And I told her that, "Are you a pharmacist?" She said, "No, you're still in school. You have quite a long time to be done with that." And say, "Oh, you cannot start using any skill as a pharmacist to do anything. But you're a copywriter right now." That sounded weird. You're a copywriter right now, but you're a copywriter now. And she said, yes. I said, so what the issue now is that what should you brand as? I told her that you don't need to brand as a pharmacist now. It's not needed. You need to focus on your copywriting, because branding is about people knowing you for one particular thing. And then over time, you get to add any other thing. By the time you build a good personal brand, any other thing you decide to venture into will be a success if you play your cards right, because people already trust your brand. They already trust you. So I told her, build as a copywriter, build your personal brand as a copywriter, as the go-to copywriter that anybody wants to have. Build that. And once you build it over the years, because I think she should be in her 300 level. So, and she has like, if in Nigeria, pharmacy is like 5 years, she has like 2 years to be done with school. There's NYSC, there's other things, and then you're giving, give or take, 4 years or 4 to 5 years before she can say she's a pharmacist. And if she takes her copywriting brand, if she views herself as a good copywriter right now, while still telling people as you're building, like I said, you're creating content as a personal brand. There's a personal content, authority building content, lead generating content. So I told her, in your part of your personal content, talk about the fact that you're in school, you're trying to build as a pharmacist, you're going to school as a pharmacist and stuff like that. But you're a copywriter, right? So by the time you're building a strong brand over the course of this time, while you're still in, you would have built a strong personal brand as a copywriter that people know is still in school and is still building or trying to be a pharmacist. So by the time you're done with school, people would say, "Oh, she's finally done with school." If you decide to, open a pharmacy, you decide to, bring in any maybe a podcast or whatever thing you want to do as relating to your pharmaceutical skills, people would already know that, oh, number one, she has been talking about this. Number two, she has built a brand. So anything she decides to throw out any day, anytime will be welcomed by anybody. Simply just like what Elon Musk did, him Tesla and stuff like that, and he took over Twitter and X and stuff like that. People just, they didn't complain too much. They just went to see. The same thing if he decides to open a perfume shop today, people will buy into it because why? He's Elon Musk. So that's just it. I mean, if you build a personal brand strong enough for one thing, over the course of time, you can add in other things to it, and people will trust it because they trust your brand and they already know you. The personal branding, how you measure it, how strong a personal brand is when people know you, know what you do and what you stand for. It's as simple as that. The more people know you and know what you stand for, the more stronger your personal brand, the stronger your personal brand. So I told her that the more just build on that particular thing, let people know you as a go-to personal and as a go-to copywriter that is also in school and trying to be a pharmacist. So that by the time you're done with school, you would have built a strong personal brand that they already have an idea that you're into pharmaceuticals. So anytime you try to throw in that pharmacy or pharmaceutical skill or anything you want to offer as regarding to pharmacy, people will welcome it. Why? Because they know you and they know your journey. They've been part of your journey. That's the thing. They've been part of your journey. They've been seeing you talk about your stories, your experiences in school. They are just part of it, just like building a community of supporters. They're already part of you. So that's
As,
one of the things.
it appeared to be like the story, because I think we are of course it's not
That's
different,
it.
no. Branding and
Hmm.
story is not different, no. It that
Storytelling is part of graduate.
yeah, because we encourage people to own their voice. No, okay, that is what you are also
Hmm.
saying there. Yeah, when you have a story, then you can be different from the crowd. No, that what you
Exactly.
represent must be clear. Because if it is clear, then
Hmm.
you don't. People cannot mistake you. Because if we are in a business
Hmm.
where people don't, they can think that we are that. Maybe they see another thing, they think that we are that. Then it is confusing
They'll be confused.
because our story should be
Yeah.
what will separate us in the midst of a crowd.
Hmm.
Not like the example I was giving before.
Yeah.
See a lot of people, but I
Hmm.
see a woman inside. I say, this is what she
Hmm.
does. I think if we do that, we will be able to have more businesses. And that, of course, lead me
Yeah.
to authenticity. Because now we need to be real to the people. There is no need to over emblematize the story. There is no need to
Hmm.
over paint it. Because at the end of the day, we are talking to a human being. If I tell you that I am sitting in front of a jaguar, you can see that I'm not sitting in front
Hmm.
of a jaguar, no? Maybe you might not tell me, but you will know that I'm lying to you, no?
Hmm.
So the point is
Yeah.
that
That's.
if we want to build something substantial, something that can last, it is good that we are honest with the people. It's good that we are real to the people because most of the brand that you are talking about now,
My name.
like Elon Musk, for example, or Steve Jobs, you see, okay, these are bigger than life individuals in terms of the brand that they
Hmm.
were able to build around themselves. But on
Hmm.
the at the level of their speech, I don't know if how much you listen to Elon
Hmm.
Musk's speech. They are very
Hmm.
normal in the way they present themselves. They are different
And
from
they don't hide it too. That's how they are.
yeah, you see. There is this guy that
Yeah.
I like a lot. No, Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist,
Mm,
a Canadian clinical psychologist. Sometimes you see when he talk, sometimes he almost like you feel he want to cry. No, uh,
mm,
cry for people is seen as a sign of weakness, but it's not really that.
mm,
It's not really true that it means that you are weak. Those are
mm,
emotional things, in that
mm.
when we talk to people, we need to be real, we need to be genuine with them, because the audience of the day, the
They can
client
talk
of
to you.
today have become very sophisticated to the point that at
Mm.
a 50-meter away, they will smell you that you are
They can
lying.
sense they are fake.
All right.
I tell people this. I tell people that it will be a bad thing. It will be a bad thing if you're building yourself as a, let's say, you're building yourself as a sarcastic person. You're building yourself as a very humorous person online. People see you, and then they get to meet you or they get to talk with you, and they are seeing two parallel, like they are not marrying the two individuals. It will be like it will make it be like a fake. Because why are you building yourself as a strong person, as a sarcastic person, or a humorous person, or a very serious professional and stuff like that? And then when people get to speak with you or they get to meet you in person and they can't even find the person they are seeing online, they can't find her or find him. It's just going to mean that you're not building an authentic brand. So that's one of the things I said. Marry whatever you're doing, marry your offline personality and your online. Let it not be two different things. Let it not be that you're building a different persona online. And then when people get to meet you, because for me, I think building on LinkedIn or building on any other social media platform or taking your personal branding seriously, you have to think big because you're not going to just remain with just writing content online. It's going to transcend beyond writing content because if you are serious with your personal branding, it's going to take you places, going to take you to interviews, podcasts, TV stations, and any other place that you can imagine. It's going to take you big. The higher you go, you're going to be exposed to so many other platforms and so many other things. And if you're building your personal brand in like inauthentic way, in an inauthentic way, where you're building a fake persona that is totally different from who you are offline, when you get to meet those places, get to those places, and they're seeing you, you will find out that either they'll be disappointed or they'll feel like you're a fake because what they presumed you to be or the perception that you have built is totally different from what they are seeing offline. And that's where the authenticity comes in. You have to be authentic whatever you're doing online. You should not be part of that statistics of people that they say are fake or into the internet is a place of fake people and stuff like that. Be part of the statistics of the genuine and authentic individuals. So that's where authenticity comes in because it's going to make you how will I put it? It's going to make you real. I didn't want to use my name, but it's going to make you real so that when
Why don't
people
you
see you
you, you
offline,
use the name?
so that when people see you offline, when people see you offline and they've known you online and then they get to see you or meet you, they are not feeling disappointed or feeling like this is different. You have this situation where you'll be like, oh, I met her. She's exactly what I thought she would be. She's exactly the person I thought. Don't be like what I ordered versus what I got. That's not a nice thing to do for your personal brand. So that's why you have to be authentic. Yeah.
That's so good to hear. All right, tell me something. Tell me something about your growth so far, no? Because you started exactly when? Do you remember exactly when you started on LinkedIn?
Okay, so just like a lot of persons on LinkedIn, I think most everybody had this situation where you had the app, you opened it for the first time, you didn't know what you were doing, you left, that kind of situation. I think everybody has that. I think I did. At the point I just came in and just I just was like other social media apps or platforms. I just like did a post. Nobody actually. I even started. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think yesterday I was going through my earliest post, and I thought that the first post I made that nobody even liked it. It's still there. Nobody liked that post till now. So I just felt like it was like normal other social media platforms. I just came. Did a post. My auntie had told me then that it was a place of filled with professionals. I came online I didn't know what they were doing. They just kept posting, going out, nothing, and then I deleted the app. And then I think I had there was a time I got an online scholarship that I actually even didn't go to, but they had told us then to post on LinkedIn, and I posted on LinkedIn. Stuff like that on and off. But it was like I said, after the event that I attended, I heard that guy's story, and then I came back on LinkedIn, December 2022. But just like I said, I didn't know what they were doing. I didn't take it seriously, or I didn't really know what to do to take it seriously. But it was in February that I started being consistent, and I think I went on a challenge February last year, 14th actually, Valentine's Day, for the first day I started the challenge to be consistent on it. So let's
Why
say I
Valentine's
did my
Day? Was it your boyfriend that dragged you
I
into
don't
that?
yeah, no no
Tell it true.
no, it was actually the day. It was actually the day the challenge, because I don't know if you know how the LinkedIn thing. That was the day her challenge started. So I don't know why she did it on Valentine's Day, but it was Valentine's Day that we actually started that cohort. I think it was cohort 7 or so. I think then. So because of the challenge, that day was the first day, official day that I still take as my anniversary that I started being.
All right. So how do you assess your growth now? Because this is over a year now. You'll be
Ah,
there. How, of course, now the people are calling you the queen of yellow on LinkedIn. So how do you
yellow.
feel about your growth so far?
My growth. How will I would say it's been okay. It's been okay. I won't say it's been um fast, because I've seen people that have not stayed for as long as I have done so well. I will not say it's slow, because I've seen people that have started the same time that I did and haven't gotten to half of what I've achieved. So I would say it's okay. It's not too fast. It's not too slow. It's just there. I've not had an exponential growth. That's just been in passive, just normal growth, normal speed. Nothing fast, nothing too much. But I think my fastest growth was I moved from 500 to 5,000 followers in 100 days. I think that's that's how fast I can say fastest growth that I measured. But after that, it was just steady growth. Um, and I would say a lot of it is because of me, dependent on me. So there's a thing about LinkedIn being an engagement driven platform, where depending on the engagement and depending on the time you put into it, it's like garbage in, garbage out. You put in more work, you're going to get more results. So as regards the work that I did, I would say a lot of it is my fault, because when I started, I actually put in so much work, because at that time I didn't have so much going on with me, and I had to put in because I needed to know, I needed to do this, I needed to. So I think over time, because of I was posting every single day on Sundays, but I got the time it was so overwhelming for me, because I actually keep growing, keep having job offers, like gigs coming your way, and you keep having comments on your post. So imagine you're having like 200 comments as well, and you have to respond every single day you're posting. At the time, I just started burning out, and I had to take a break, because I even felt ill then. I had to take a break. I stopped posting every single day. I started posting just 5 times a week. I even had to take a break one certain time. So I stopped posting in the morning. I started posting in the evening. And so I would say, depending on me, I think my growth compared to when I started for now is not really as fast as I know it should be if I want it to be. But I'm not putting in the energy that I did when I started, because of a lot of other things taking my time and attention. But I would say my growth has been okay. It's something that I'm proud of. It's something I'm proud of. Yeah, something I'm proud of, actually. More than my growth on numbers, I think it's the growth of like the strength of my personal brand, more than the number of followers. I think
But
it's
what
more of
about what
the
about
brand,
the business wise of it? I'm not really looking at
vanity metric.
the vanity metric. That is not really what I'm interested.
Mm.
At least for as a business, no, because there are some people there
Mm.
who might have more than 1,000 follower, and they don't have a good
Mm.
return on investment in terms of business,
Mm.
no.
That's
So
true.
happy are you about that one?
Okay, so I would say I'm quite more like there's this word. I'm okay, but I know a lot can be done. I think that's as best I can answer that, because compared to when I started and compared to where I am right now, I think there's been so much growth. And like I said, because of building on LinkedIn and because of my content and my branding, I have people reach out to me directly. And that's another thing. So, on LinkedIn, you have like inbound or outbound. It's either you're going directly to them for job opportunities or gigs, or they're coming to you. So, me majorly have been inbound, which is, like I said, I've just been a little over 1 year. So I've been exploring the inbound. So this year I said, okay, I told my friend he's into leads generation and stuff like that. High ticket offers, sales and stuff. So I told him that, oh, this year I'm going to focus on outbound because there's so much that you can do with inbound compared to outbound. I think outbound, for what I've heard so far, you have more um, control over it than inbound. So I would say it's been good so far. It's been good for my business. It's been good because I get to work with people all over. Like before I came on LinkedIn, it was just based on referrals from people that I had worked with. I was purely Nigerians. But being on LinkedIn, like I've had to work with people from all over different places. I've worked with Indians. I've worked with people from Norway, from Europe, from Asia, from Canada, just different places. And if it was on LinkedIn, I don't even think it because I'm not so big on other like freelancing platforms, other platforms. So I don't think if it wasn't for LinkedIn, I don't think I would have had the opportunity to have worked with the people that I've worked with, or even be connected to the people that I'm currently connected with or built relationship with. So I would say for business wise, it's great. It could be better, which, like I said, you said be real, right? So, which, like I said, is dependent on the work I put in and the work I give out as regards to my strategies, my outbound and stuff like that. Which I think if I was doing both, I would have had tremendous results as opposed to me just focusing on one medium of getting clients, which is inbound and referrals. So if okay, inbound referrals and search, using like the people that use the search filter to find you. So I think if I had inculcated the outbound strategy last year, I think by now I would have said, oh, the result has been tremendous. But because I have not yet done that, I would say, oh, it's been okay, it's been good, but it can be better. Yeah. So that's just it.
All right, that's fair. That's fair enough. That is interesting. Now, as we look into the future, how do you see yourself? What are you projecting for the future? Of course, I'm
Mm.
talking to you now as a business person. I'm looking at what are you
Mm.
seeing in your business in the future? Maybe using LinkedIn,
Okay.
branding, and what you are doing generally in your business.
Okay. So a lot has changed. Like a lot of what I was doing, let's say I was doing, it has changed. LinkedIn has changed it in the sense that before I came on LinkedIn, I wasn't doing personal branding. I was just for businesses. But because of LinkedIn, I had to now say, okay, because I've had situation where I'm branding, and like I said, people that come to me or people that are on LinkedIn are people that are trying to build a personal brand. Not all though, but lots of them are trying to build a personal brand and they have business. And so because of me being on LinkedIn, I've now had to add like personal branding to the mix where I'm branding for both people and their businesses, which is something that I didn't do before now. And so there's something I like saying. I like saying consistency breeds clarity. And I feel like the more you keep going, the more you keep growing, the more you're going to get exposed to things that are going to be additions to what you're currently doing. And so the future for me, I would say, is that I'm looking towards building more, working towards refining my offer as regards to building. And I think I started doing that. I started changing my messaging and trying because I discovered that okay, I've been attracting people that do personal brand, people that are building personal brand, and also attracting business owners. So how about I change everything and focus on the both of them? So not just focusing on small to medium sized businesses, now focusing on both their own personal brands. Whereas I'm talking about them building their own personal branding and driving the traffic their businesses. So that's where I am right now. The future is looking like I'm going to also inculcate like employee branding, where I'm branding not just you, I'm helping you refine the branding of your organization as regards to your team and people working with you. Where people working with you, your employees, are kind of mini influencers for your business, where they're speaking the same language and they're acting as an influencer or acting as influencers for your own business and for the growth of your business. So I'm looking towards inculcating employee branding and personal branding fully into what I offer. And like I said, which is why, like I told you when I started about me trying to get more knowledgeable in brand strategy, because those are the things that are going to grow this whole big picture of employee branding, personal branding, using that to drive traffic to your business and organization and stuff like that. So that's like the big picture of I'm looking at towards my business,
Thank you so much.
inculcating employee branding.
Thank you so much for that. Of course, I could have more questions to ask you, but I understand. So we don't need to stay here for the whole day because I know you have to do some other things too. You need to prepare for tomorrow and the rest of that. Okay,
Yeah.
so how can people find you, those who want to work with you, who want to do business with you? Please share with them.
Okay. I'm on LinkedIn, Real Desmond, or you can just search Yellow Queen. I'm sure you will see me. Real Desmond. I also add Yellow Queen to make it easier to find. Although I doubt anybody's answering the question, but yeah, Real Desmond. Um, my email. You can also send me an email at reelyellowqueen@gmail.com. One of the things I like saying is that don't give so many options so that people will be confused. That's one of the things I believe in. So I just feel like if I tell you one thing, you know that, okay, this is the address, you go straight to that place. If I'm giving you so many options, it might make you confused. So
That's true. That's true.
LinkedIn.
Too many options confuses the customer. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked a lot about branding today, LinkedIn, your
Mm,
strategy, and all of that. So,
mm.
what would be your final thoughts to conclude the conversation? Maybe an advice, I don't know, whatever. Please go ahead and do
Okay.
that.
I would say that don't hide, don't shy away from saying your story, don't shy away from putting yourself out there. Years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would be doing what I'm doing right now. So like I always say, consistency breeds clarity. So just start. And I know some people say just start, just start. I think just start, but before you start, know your why. And when you know your why, just do your research and just start. You don't need to be 100% before you start. Just know your why, know what you want to do, know what you want to do. Don't forget authenticity is important. Put that together with your why and then just start. As you keep going, as you keep progressing, you're going to get better. You're going to have more.
Thank you so much for that, Ray. I appreciate the time and also the sharing here. It is really very valuable.